Hey guys, it's your boy FFXIV here, and I am back as with tradition on this channel with the patch 6.11a notes super condensed. As always, there's going to be timestamps given to you in the video description. If this video helps you, I would super intensely appreciate if you dropped a thick and juicy bounce pass on that like button and cat daddy that subscribe button. A quick note before we get into the content of 6.11a is that future content is planned to be released in the next coming weeks, and this is going to include things like the new custom deliveries, which is going to be with Alisei and Alpha Knows Mother. We're going to get the Arcasadara Buddhist tribe quests, those are the elephant people. Then we're going to also be getting an expansion to the Hildebrand quest line with somehow further Hildebrand adventures, and that's going to come with patch 6.15, and then the data center travel system, which has been long awaited to say the absolute least, is coming with patch 6.18. Now we're going to be getting into a huge amount of PvP buffs. These are not PvE buffs, just to be clear, these are PvP, but these are very much going to be impactful, and we're going to be starting off with a heavy hitter, which is the Gunbreaker, that is going to be getting two massive buffs. The first one is to their Rough Divide action, which has their increased damage and healing potency, which was originally 10%, has now been doubled to 20%. That's going to be very impactful. The second action is that Relentless Rush now has an additional 25% damage reduction added onto the skill, which is going to undeniably make them a lot more durable. Now we're looking at the Bard getting two simple buffs to DPS skills, personal DPS skills I should add by the way, which Powerful Shot and Imperial Arrow are going to have their potencies increased by 1,000 each. So base potency 3,000 to 4,000 for both of them. Regardless, this is going to be very much appreciated because the Bard does add a lot to a team, but they don't really have much kick on their own. Again, this isn't going to shoot them over the stars and moon, but this is going to definitely give them a little bit more to play with. For the Machinist, we're seeing something very similar to the Bard. We are going to be looking at potency and damage increases. Bioblaster is what we're going to start with because people are going to probably be like, well, that's not a damage increase. Aha. But the thing is, Bioblaster is a damage over time effect, and so we're seeing its duration change from 9 to 12 seconds, and anyone playing this game for any period of time knows that we're at a 3-second cadence of server ticks, and so basically getting one more Bioblaster tick in that. So hence it's basically a potency increase, kind of sort of. People might be like, but you can heal easier through it. You know what I mean. Then we're looking at Drill, which is having its potency flat out increased from 9,000 to 10,000, and then when you're under the effective analysis, it's going to have it from 18,000 to 20,000. So basically just adding another 1,000, and then it gets doubled, so then another 2,000. Chainsaw's potency has been increased by 2,000 as well, increased from 10 to 12,000. So it just has a little bit more bite. Not anything going completely crazy, but definitely a bit more bite. Dancers, first of all, seeing a potency increase from 4,000 to 5,000 on Fan Dance, which is definitely going to be appreciated. Not going to make them a heavy hitter by any means, but a little bit of a tweak there. But more interestingly enough, their action Honing Dance has the effect of reducing damage taken by 20% also added onto it, which is definitely going to be appreciated. Now we're coming up with our first nerf here, which is Red Mage, where their Corpse ability is having its damage reduction changed from 20% to 10%, making it so that the Red Mage is more likely to become a corpse if they use Corpse. I'm stupid, I'm sorry. So for the Astro, they have a skill called Aspected Benefit. Shocking, I know, every Ast player is shooketh hearing that. But with the help text in patch 6.11, it wasn't quite making sense to people. Previously, it was listing a potency, like the minimum heal that it could give, to 4,000, and then the maximum all the way up to 8,000. That wasn't necessarily true, I guess, and so they're making an adjustment here just to make it more clear. And so the base cure potency has been increased for the skill from 4,000 to 5,000, but the maximum cure potency has been reduced from 12,000 to 10,000. And so what you could see there was previously that 8,000 listing was actually 12,000, and that wasn't right. And so what they actually really wanted to do here was essentially like take it down from 12,000 to 10,000. So basically it's just shrinking the ceiling and the floor and bringing them a little bit closer together. Then all the players who go into frontline screamed out at once, because the summoner got a whole lot of buffs. I know. Essentially with these buffs, I'm pretty sure that they're just focused on Crystalline Conflict, which is very different than Frontlines. Guys, listen, I am not the one to ask about what's going on with Frontlines, but what I'm going to say here is that these buffs, in terms of Crystalline Conflict, are very welcome for the summoner. So first up is that Slipstream is having its potency increased from 6,000 to 8,000. Very necessary, in my opinion. It needed a little bit more oomph. And then the Windstorm potency, which is that donut around it, has its potency increased from 3,000 to 4,000. Basically, it's just a bit more punishment for people standing in it, even though it is admittedly pretty easy to dodge, at least in Crystalline Conflict. The next buff is for Radiant Aegis, and where its damage reduction has been increased from 10 to 20%, which definitely makes it a lot stronger. And the barrier potency has been increased from 8,000 to 10,000 potency, which is, again, going to make it stronger. Basically, if the summoner has Radiant Aegis on them, they're a lot more protected. The next thing is that the Mountain Buster, specifically Mountain Buster, is having its potency increased from 2,000 to 4,000. Again, just giving it a little bit more bite. It sounds like a double, which is like seems really crazy, but considering its cooldown and everything actually is pretty fair. Then next up is Revelation, which is what Phoenix uses, and generally if you come from front lines, you're only seeing Bahamut just because Phoenix doesn't have the damage, and likewise this is expressed very much in Crystalline Conflict because it's like, okay, Bahamut does this, but Phoenix really just doesn't have the kick. So this is giving Phoenix Revelation just a lot more kick because it's doubling it from 3,000 to 6,000, just humping out Phoenix a little bit. And in general, Summoner and Crystalline Conflict, I do actually think that this is actually very much welcome. Not in frontline, but Crystalline Conflict. I need to be really careful because people chew me out. I don't know what this is gonna do in frontline. But don't chew me out. I'm focused just on frontline. Please don't hurt me. Okay, now Black Mage for PvP, which is getting a huge amount of changes that I would even argue is a bit of a rework. Like these are very significant, tangible changes that go way beyond potency. So first up, we're gonna start easy. Is Fire and Blizzard are having their effect durations doubled from 15 to 30 seconds, because how Black Mage works in a nutshell is you apply Astral Fire or Umbral Ice onto people, then you trigger your effect, and then the people either freeze or they take a really painful damage over time effect. We're basically getting just double the duration for that, which is very welcome. Now we are getting some basic potency upgrades with Burst, just because Burst is going to be like, typically I'll like zip up to someone and then burst, and that'll be like instant cast and deal a lot of damage. They're basically buffing it, so now it's up from 12,000 to 16,000 potency. It's gonna really hurt now, and the barrier potency has been increased from 12,000 to 16,000, which sounds like crazy when you compare it to the Summoner Shield, but remember they don't have that reduction in there. Paradox has now, interestingly enough, been a charged action now with a maximum of 2 charges. Very welcome change in my opinion, because sometimes you really want that burst. Very welcome change. As someone who plays Black Mage in PvP, I like this. Now Nightwing is getting a multitude of changes, 3 big changes, and so half a sleep effect now reduces movement speed by 50%. I think that's nice because now you can't just ignore it at that point. Half a sleep effect duration has now been reduced though from 4 to 3 seconds, making it a little bit more quick. And then sleep effect duration has been reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. Again, it makes the sleep less damning in a fight. It's still going to be something you obviously want out of, but it is losing a quarter of the duration. But you are noticing the half a sleep effect just being shortened, making it a little bit more noticeable. Like you need a little bit more urgency when it's on you. For the Fire 4 and the Blizzard 4 skills, they're having their cast times reduced from roughly 2 seconds to roughly 1.5 seconds. I'm just adjusting because I know it's just under, guys, but work with me. Likewise, their duration, Astral Fire, Umbral Ice, those are going to just be doubled even here too. Interestingly enough, Flare and Freeze are going to be seeing that cast time reduction from 2 to 1.5 seconds as well, but we are noticing that their damage is also being significantly increased. We're seeing Flare from 8,000 to 12,000. That's going to hurt, and the same thing with Freeze. These abilities you do not want to get hit by. And now the Soul Resonance ability, which is very high stakes, and you don't want to get knocked down during, and it makes you like the #1 target of everyone using third-party cheating tools, which I absolutely detest in PvP. But you pop this ability, you find out very quickly who has third-party tools, because you just get all of them on you at once immediately. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's like the reaction time's crazy. But now it grants the ability called Apocalyptic. God, I couldn't say this back in Stormblood, and I still bloody well can't say it. Basically, it has a reducing damage taken by 20% with a duration of 15 seconds, allowing you a little bit more flexibility in that. Thank God. It might not just instantly be deleted in like half a second. Now for the biggest change of all, which I have left the best for last, is players will no longer be logged out automatically after 30 minutes of inactivity. And this applies to all areas, including the firmament. Thank God. In fact, that is going into the thumbnail because that is the shining star of all this. I am so stupid, but you know what? You know that's true. I'm so sick of being kicked to the title and then hearing the song play as I'm like tabbed out or like doing something else. I'm like, god darn it. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I actually am really excited for this. I want this PvP change.